In aviation history, it may not rank with the Wright brothers or Charles Lindbergh, but the flight that landed at JFK in February 1964 was just as earth-shaking. "50 years later, fans return to sing the Beatles' praises.
The reason we're here is that on February 7th, 1964, JFK Airport once again lived up to its reputation as the gateway to America, welcoming 4 young lads from England off Pan Am Flight 101 and ushering in a transformation of rock and roll and American culture.
Liverpool officials invited everyone back to visit a replica of the Cavern Club, where it all began.
This time they put a toilet in, because the toilets before weren't actually plumbed in anywhere. So it was just seeping into the walls. That's all changed now.
It's grungy with health and safety now.
The Beatles came to New York to play the Ed Sullivan Show. Americans needed some cheer after President Kennedy's assassination, and 70 million tuned in.
I often wonder if I would have become a musician were it not for the Beatles and the British invasion.
So we have them to blame for all of this. Damn it. They're the greatest. I wanted to be them.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Billy J. Kramer remembers following the Beatles across the pond during the British invasion.
I wanted to get on the next plane back to England, and I was overwhelmed by it.
The Beatles even wrote hits for Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas.
Favorite memories, I think, was sitting at the piano and have John Lennon play me Baird to me, and then saying, "This is another one. What do you think of this?" And he played, "I Want to Hold Your Hand." I said, "Can I have it?" And he said, "No, we're doing that one ourselves."
The Beatles' flight from London was the first day on the job for one Pan Am stewardess.
They were like normal 20-year-old, not normal today, but back then, kids 20 years old, going to New York for the first time. Very excited, very nice, mannerly. We just couldn't get them to sit down.
Did any one of the 4 stand out particularly?
Paul, I think. He was the most visible, the most talkative. He was taking lots of pictures, and he was low-key, he was not demanding.
After chasing Paul for decades, this fan finally kissed him last year. At the Hollywood Bowl in 1965, she keeled over.
When they did Long Toss Sally, I couldn't breathe, and I passed out and I fell over into the bushes. And I remember the security guys picking me up, trying to take me out, and I kicked, and I got away from them, and I got back to my seat, and I got to watch the rest of the concert.
The celebration was planned by radio station Q104, the Fest for Beatles fans, and the Port Authority. A plaque will mark the Beatles' arrival, even though the 1964 terminal is gone. How would John Lennon have handled all this hoopla? His sister has an idea.
I think he would have been playing the guitar, taken over.
What do you miss about him the most?
Everything.
You know you should be.
Beatles covers bands had their own groupies?
Yeah.
But they're 65 years old, right?
No, well, you know, Ringo's my groupie.